All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode on the Pepper Talk Show. I'm your favorite host, MC Chance, as some of you call me. Today, we're actually going to be discussing a very, very important topic, and that is the African and African-American stereotypes. And today on the show, we have a very, very good friend of ours. We invited her over to come share this experience with us. Please help me welcome Porsha. Hi, Porsha. How are you?
How are you? Good.
Good. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having
Really
me.
appreciate that. Porsha, you are very, very energetic.
I am.
African.
I am. Yes.
Yeah. Good. Porsha, do you mind telling us where you come from originally?
Yes, I am originally from the United States,
Right.
by the way of Newport News, Virginia, a very small country town.
Okay.
That's really small.
Very small.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, is that where you grew up?
I did. I
Okay.
grew up in that area.
And then you moved over
And then
to
I moved over to the Maryland, or like you call it DMV
the DMV area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
DMV area, very hot area, right?
Yes.
It is very hot, right?
Hot.
Well, thank you so much, Porsha, for coming through. I decided to invite you over just because I felt this would be a very good discussion, and hopefully a few people might get one or two things, learn one or two things from this.
Definitely.
I grew up in Africa myself, in Nigeria precisely, and then coming into America, of course, it's
Right.
a whole different ballgame.
Of course. Yeah.
You're gonna have to get used to the system, get used to the people.
Yes.
And something I've noticed over the years is, this stereotypes between Black people in general, more so Africans and, of course, African Americans.
Right.
I've always had to believe, hey, for you to be an African American, you're already an African first, right?
Exactly.
So, Posh, Monday through Sunday, there's this, day-to-day kind of like stereotyping between Africans and African Americans, Black people, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But the reason I brought you here today, I invited you over is, what we hear is on the street, but we haven't had any in-depth kind of like, so what is the problem? What is the feeling? Like, how do they feel about Africans? Like, what's the word inside the house, not on the streets, inside the house, like hidden,
Yes.
So if you
Well,
please.
thank you for having me.
Absolutely,
And
my
I
dear.
will be happy to enlighten you and all of our viewers.
Right.
So the word on the street is usually people are not willing to want to understand each other's culture.
Right.
Americans, they're set in their way of doing things. Africans are set in their way of doing things. So it's just I guess you can say it's just you have to be willing to want to be open-minded, wanting to learn about other people's cultures. On a day-to-day basis, well, not day-to-day, but a lot of times, or a lot of people that I've ran into, I have received so many different types of I guess you can say backlash. I guess like backlash, if you will. For example, the other day, a guy tried texting me and was like, "Hey, are you currently dating anyone? Are you currently seeing anyone?" And I was just like, "Oh, you wouldn't know the person."
Right.
And so we kind of, so he said, "Well, if you would have still talked to me, we would have been together by now." And I was like, "Well, no." I said, "Well, honestly speaking, I don't date Americans." And he was like, well, like he was just taken back a lot by that. And from that, his response to me was just something that turned me completely off. He was just like, "Oh, those dirty people, they stink."
Wow.
And I'm like, why would you say something like that? Like, you don't know them. Maybe the ones you've been around, like everyone's not the same. Just like as an American, we have quote unquote ghetto parts in America.
Right.
Africans have, ghetto parts. So so it was just the fact that he was unlearned, and the fact that he made that statement. I would never want to be with anyone like that anyway. So,
Absolutely.
so
and that makes sense. My thing is, that's. So I got to take 1 minute to absorb that one. But the thing is, sometimes I feel bad because as not just an African, but as a Black man living in America, if you notice, you'll see that in most cases, when there's a protest or something that has to do with black people trying to speak up, you know, there's always this set of people that are missing from that protest,
Right.
which is in most cases Africans, you know, because they have this thing like, okay, well, just go deal with it, you know.
Right.
And if you look at the roots, you find out that, you know, it's because of backlashes like that.
Yes.
I've actually heard that, you know, Africans are fraudsters, most especially Nigerians. I'm Nigerian, you know. Hey, I'm not going to deny what it is that is known, but, you know, it's amazing, but I know the power that could be generated from black folks entirely, like the whole entire black folks. We're talking about Africans.
Yes.
Because, hey, Porsha, whether you like it, you're African American.
I
Right?
am.
But what comes before the American?
African, and I proudly hold it.
Hey, and if you don't mind me, I'm not trying to intrude into your privacy, but you're dating someone now?
I am.
Okay,
I am
and-
currently dating someone. He is a Nigerian man. Yes, and I love it. Yes.
And you love it? Okay. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel good about myself,
Right,
at least.
of course,
you know.
yes.
Okay, because, you know, I know in terms of like relationships, there's always something that also comes from, you know, the older folks.
Right.
And I understand, you know, that whole history
Right.
with slavery.
Right.
And, you know, but I try to imagine, I mean, we've come this far, right? And Africans have migrated into the US, you know, whether you like it or not, it has happened. But is there something like amongst the older folks, because now I don't know, but I want you to believe me that I actually hosted a wedding about a year ago, and while it was a Nigerian getting married to an African American, and I remember saying something about, you know, we're all Africans at the end of the day. We're Africans and then we're African Americans, you know, but African comes first, you know, before America, and you know, we're one. And I just wish that I didn't finish that statement before an elderly man with all white hairs stood up. When I mean stood up in a wedding and went off.
Wow.
Like, you don't know what we went through. We stepped on ice. We stepped on hard surface. We stepped on this. Like, we suffered, man. Y'all don't know what we went through. You know, so I had to absorb for a minute. And, you know, I'm the type of person, I don't get scared. I'll tell you how I feel. You know, so I'm looking at him like, bro, you don't know me, man.
Right.
I'm about to go off on you. But, hey, I got to be professional. I was paid, you know, so I had to hold. But trust me, on a day-to-day outside of that event, I can imagine how far I could have gone.
Right.
But let me ask you, within your own area,
Yes.
right? Have you come across older folks that have said stuff about Africans, not just Nigerians, but Africans in general? Like, what kind of stuff did they?
Yeah, so let me elaborate on that a little bit as well. So recently, I've had kind of my first experience with an African church, if you will, or I guess let's say international church, but predominantly Africans there. I don't know if I have an American look maybe about myself, and I don't know if maybe it's just the way they are, but in going to the church, I've experienced more or less some backlash from some of the older women that were there. And it was more or less like, you know, and you respect your elders. By all means, you respect your elders. But, you know, we were doing, I went for a communion service one night. We were all getting to stand, we were standing up. And like one lady, she just like bumped me, didn't say, excuse me, I have manners. So I don't know if it was just maybe, you know, her just thinking that I was just maybe a little girl or something, but it was just a lot different to me, and to experience it in a church. In my own church, people have manners. You know, we're more calm. So that was as far as the elders, the biggest backlash that I have experienced.
You've experienced. Okay.
In dealing with, I guess you can say, my boyfriend's family, I haven't received any backlash from them at all. Thank God, they accept me.
No, but you have to understand too that sometimes it comes with the exposure of the family. You know, some families are really, dwelt upon their culture and tradition, and they just feel like there won't be any better woman for you other than the one that comes from your country. Right. But now, speaking about African American, older folks, like, the ones that could have experienced, slavery and all that stuff, was there like something they say to kids then, like, oh, Africans, this, and they sold us into slavery, because I've heard that.
So,
I've heard that.
I've never heard that per se, but one thing that I have heard was, I guess, that Americans are looked upon as lazy. I guess they view Americans as lazy, and I think
and this is Africans viewing Americans
view as Americans as lazy, and I think where they may feel that, let's say in Africa, you guys, you go to school, you all walk to school, you pretty much in the books 24/7.
Right.
Here in America, the technology is more advanced. We have access to computers. If we want to get on Wikipedia, Google, we have it at our disposal. So I think, it's more or less like, oh, we don't really have to work for anything, and then too, that's just because, they're not exposed to, American, because once they come here, it's not a walk in the park, something. And I've never been to Nigeria or Africa per se as of yet. However, so I don't know, the difference, but it's definitely not a walk in the park.
Okay. But do you feel like there are a few or many African Americans that are lazy, really? Like, do you feel like there's some people that just...
Yes, most definitely. Not talking about anyone, but yes, I do feel, because here in America, a lot of things are handed to African Americans with, being an American citizen. You can go down to the social services building and, get your food stamp, your TANF, your Medicaid, whatever, what have you. The benefits are available to you. Right. A lot of people, or a lot of Americans, become dependent on that and don't know how to even become self-sufficient from that. So
Makes sense.
So it kind of hinders us here in a sense. Yes, it can. Okay. You just have to have, I think, the willpower and the drive to want to, push for it. Right. So, that's what I think about that.
Makes a whole lot of sense. So my thing is, how do you feel about, Africans that migrate into the United States, right? And they're coming in here, they're picking up jobs, they're working. And of course, the ones that are going to try to misbehave will misbehave. But the serious ones that are going to school, picking up jobs, working, buying houses, buying nice cars. Because what I've heard sometimes is like, oh, these Africans, will just come in here, take our jobs, take our that, and take this and all that stuff. What's the word on the street? Like, this is what I've heard, but, there might be some in-depth.
Yeah, so I hear it a lot, too, from the American side. They come here, they drive this, they they do that, they this, that, and the third. And, how are they doing? And like you said about the fraudsters and Again, they're unlearned. However, I personally love when they come here. When Africans come here, I love it because you all have so much knowledge. You all have so the values, the culture, the beliefs, just so much that I wish Americans can adopt, because I believe it would make America in general a better place. I believe that it would be a lot less single mothers in America. One, I believe a lot more Americans will be educated and not paying back thousands of dollars in student loan debt. So it's a lot of things that Americans can actually learn from Africans, and I wish, hopefully, one day it can be partnered in which, we all can partner together and, adapt or, learn each other's cultures to help move forward. Yep.
All right. Well, what's going to happen right now, Porsha, we're going to take a very quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to discuss more on how we can move forward as Africans and African Americans. Stay tuned.
Are you shipping an item to Nigeria? Do you want a safe and fast delivery? Shipmate can guarantee you that. Shipmate is a web application that allows people in Nigeria to shop for products like phones, laptops, clothing, and much more from America and get it delivered through a Shipmate traveler within 5 to 10 days. You see, it's very fast. It lets you save money and time. You can also make money by becoming a Shipmate traveler and watch your wallet grow each time you board a plane to Nigeria. Shop for your items, relax, and count the days till your items arrive. Buy and ship your items through Shipmate or become a Shipmate traveler now. For more information, go to www.shipmate.com.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying tuned. This is the Pepper Talk Show, and we're right back at this very important topic about Africans and African American stereotypes. And of course, Porsha and I were discussing, and we would like to continue on how we can move forward as black people, one, and of course as Africans, then African Americans. All right. So Porsha, we were discussing about this, and when I came in, there was a lot I didn't know, and whether we like it or not, as Africans, America has a lot that it contributes to you development. I feel like you become more aware, and there's this sense of belonging that automatically is achieved, and it makes you become more mature. It puts you out there to struggle on your own. Honestly, if anyone told me that I have to pay my bills at the age of 22, I didn't see that coming. It just hit me like, yeah, like, boy, all right, now welcome to the struggle, And this is going to be a later topic that we're going to have to enlighten Africans as well. And we're also going to have another discussion with Africans, because this is not just an African American issue. There's also an African side to it, where some of us are feeling like, okay, well, guess what? If you don't want to work, we're going to work and we're going to make that money, But Choma is going to be handling that. Yeah. So I studied a little of history in school, right? And I know of a great man, that fought and have brought black people in general this far. Talking about Martin Luther King, Gabby, it's a lot of them, and the thing is, I know there's a history. And sometimes Africans lack that education. So the expectation from African Americans is a little bit higher than what it really is, So they're like, dude, like, come on, man. Like, we black, man. Come on, man. But, they get that feeling like, bro, and then there's this anger, from African Americans. Because like, yo, we went through the struggle, man. Y'all don't know nothing about it. And they also just don't know. They're not educated as well in terms of like what the struggle is in Africa. Because whether you like it or not, we know what we go through. Because if it was great there, you wouldn't see any of us. We like to be where it's happening. Period. So I know that there's been the struggle, but regardless of what it is, this is the generation that is going to take us to wherever the future is. And, it would be a great honor to start a movement like that, where Africans are coming into a circle, very much educated about the struggles of our brothers who are here, our brothers and sisters who are here, what it is they went through. Understand them, right? So as an African, I understand you, and I'm saying, listen, I get it. I know you guys went through this, but this is where we are right now, now. What can we do to make things better? And then you also, as an African American, well, not you, because you're like, you're African. You've been taken. We're taking you back home now, But you as an African American can also understand. So what do you think? Like, do you foresee this whole movement?
Yes, I definitely foresee the whole movement. Will it take time? Yes, it will take a lot of time. With something that you said, you were saying both sides lack education per se. Yes, each side does lack education, but I think more importantly, they lack exposure.
True.
Exposure on both sides, really knowing firsthand what you guys experience and really knowing firsthand what Americans experience.
Yes.
So I think to make it come full circle and make it because here in America we have a lot that we could potentially pretty much Africa and America can benefit greatly from one another if they were to partner with one another. If we were to just it's going to have to start with going out and I guess engaging with other people and just trying to get their mindset to open up to think differently. Once we grasp the mindset to get in and think differently, then change can come about. Until then, if everyone's closed-minded and not willing to even see it a different way, it's going to be really, really hard. But all of the technology and stuff that we have here in America, all of the, diamonds, oil, things like that in Africa, it's a lot that can be partnered with that and can make a a gold mine in which everybody can be good. It won't be any more struggling if we all can just want to get in and want to help one another and not saying, okay, I'm in this group here, you're in that group there, you stay over there, you stay over there,
right,
you know?
Right.
So it's going to start with opening the mindsets. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to continue to do my part, definitely
Absolutely.
in teaching and in helping other people to understand it. Like I said, when the guy said what he said to me, I'm like, well, maybe those are the ones, let me introduce you to some who are not like that. Let me change your mindset. Let me help you. Maybe if you all partner up, you all can become something great together. And through, since I became an African, I have partnered, several people up with one another. I love building relationships. I love meeting people. I love, I love trying new things, new cultures, new everything. So I hope that one day, I believe that one day it will come, but it's going to take me, you, and a lot of other people to go out and actually, hey, let me just show you my way. Would you be willing to just see my way? And, if they don't, okay, so be it. If you, that's great. We're pushing forward. We're moving forward.
Great. I love that. And Porsha, I remember when you did put up an ad about the hair thing that you were doing.
Yes,
I remember
definitely.
we sent you a bunch of Africans.
Yes.
And I mean, all of them came back and they were really excited. They're like, oh, she's good at what, and in my head, any little opportunity I get to put an African American and an African in the same, I don't waste time. I'm like that, because I don't think people are seeing, and just like you said, it's the exposure. We have come as Africans. We have seen. So some of us just want to go to school, become nurses, doctors, buy a house. Oh, there's constant electricity. Look, the light hasn't blinked. The money is good too. The food is not a problem. Shit, you guys even have the government giving you guys food, stamps. We don't see all this.
No.
And then most importantly, the schools. You can go into the schools. You got laptops. You got computers. And I'm not saying we don't have this back there, but it's not accessible to everybody.
Right, you have to be in a certain class.
You have to be in a certain class. And then when we come over here and we're like, wait, what? We can get that? What do I have to do again? This is all I have to do? Shh. So that, and that's what they don't understand, because we're coming from somewhere where all that stuff wasn't available to us,
yes.
and then we come in here and it's right there, and you just want me to sit down and watch it. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell to the no. You know what I'm saying? So we getting it.
Right.
On the other hand, African Americans haven't seen, because they haven't gone back to Africa to see what is there. Do you know that me going to school here, getting a degree, getting my master's, when I go back home,
you're at the top of the food chain.
I'm on the top. And you know why? Because, hey, you're studying in a very developed country. Now, imagine when I have almost a lot of African Americans who have that same education, and I'm like, listen, I know they pay you $20 an hour, but in my country, you can actually get paid $60 an hour just because of that. Guess what? I'm bringing you into Africa, and we're working together. And we're making that bread together, and we're winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
Anyways, Porsha, it's been honestly, and I'm hoping people would understand where it is that we're trying to go with these videos, because we can't keep sitting and talking. Oh, this is what we wish. We got to put in the work, and I believe
definitely.
I'm hoping that one day I can have so much money where I can sponsor 5 people, 5 African Americans to go back.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't need to worry about Africans. There's a lot of Africans here already. They're good. Right now, they're not even letting some countries come in, and they're like, no, we got a lot of you. But just taking people like, hey, guess what, too? These are your roots.
These are your roots, yes.
You don't know if you're actually from Nigeria.
No.
You don't know if you're from Sierra Leone.
Right.
You don't know if you're from Cameroon. Guess what? We don't even care.
Yeah.
What we want you to know is that you're actually from Africa.
Right.
Whether you like it or not. At the
we're
end of the
all
day. One. So when we get out, let's keep living the lives that we're living. I keep living the life of me mingling with African Americans every day. You keep living, and I hope you guys will get married, and I can be your MC very soon.
Of
Hallelujah,
course,
girl!
definitely.
Thank you. I had to throw that in there real quick, Well, Porsha, it's been a great honor having you here today. Honestly, I really appreciate that, and we're actually going to be moving forward. This is our very first episode on this topic, and Chioma is actually going to be having this same episode with an African American male.
Yes.
You know, because we want to make sure, you know,
both sides.
we get in both sides, you know, and then of course we're going to follow up with Africans too, because Africans have what it is they want to say or how it is that they feel, you know.
Yes.
So I really thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
I hope we do this again.
We will.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you also for staying tuned to the Pepper Talk Show. Just like I said, this is our very first episode. We're going to have a next episode with Chioma and an African American male, and then we take it up from there. So please don't touch that. Stay tuned to the Pepper Talk Show.